Before we begin, thank you very much to TJOmega's devout follower of anti-clear plastic preaching for joining the Patreon campaign. Yes, here we teach the dangers of translucent plastic because we are on a mission to make Transformers survivable and not self-destruct. We want toys that will survive the ravages of time undeterred by really, really cheap product. So, thank you very much for supporting the mission. We're not doing that mission particularly today because we're doing something a little bit weird. I figured we've had two big leak videos this week. I can get away with a little bit of weird. So here we are. We've been using a website over on, I say we, I haven't participated in this, but the people over on the Common Writer subreddit have been using a website called seriesgraph.com to gauge different series, because it's actually pretty common on IMDB for a series rating to not really reflect the quality of the series based on how good the episodes rate. So instead, you use this website to see everything all at once, and you actually get a much more detailed version of whether or not a series is good or bad. You know, because it's so easy to click on a single page and go, I like this show, I don't like this show. So that skews it, because that's easy. But to look at all the overall ratings, now you have something. And keep in mind, those rankings on IMDb, they're not like, you know, they don't like average out. So like, for instance, right now you're staring at the graph results for Transformers, the original series from 1984. And an 8.0 is pretty good. But let's look at the graph. Like, we have only a few episodes. Now, episodes in the green are at least an 8, and we only have 5 of them here. If we scroll down to season 3, we pick up 3 more. So 8 out of 98 episodes is going to be 8 or above, at least as far as like overall viewer rankings on everything. That really doesn't reflect the 8.0, now does it? That's a little bit weird. You can see where everything is kind of middling. We do admit, you know, like, animation quality not the best. You know, a lot of episodes do boil down to it's selling a toy line, you know? It's a commercial. Heavy Metal War got an 8.1 in season 1. That makes sense. That's a really good episode. You got Dinobots, you got Constructicons. What's not to like? Key to Vector Sigma, an 8.1 and an 8. An 8.5 for War Dawn, okay? And then Starscream Brigade. These are great episodes. Season 3, I really wish Five Faces of Darkness was a little bit higher than that. Dark Awakening, The Return of Optimus. Oh, and yeah, it's basically the 3 episodes that featured Optimus Prime get an 8 or above. I see you. I see what you're doing. If you're curious, the low ranks are obvious. It's Bot, it's Carnage in C minor, and it's The Face of Najika. Like 3 of the categorically worst episodes in the series. But you can see, like, the series, like, overall opinion is a lot more middling than I thought. You know, like, you're in like the above average range of like the 6s and 7s for most everything. And season 2 being poorly animated knocks it down. So let's quickly go through as many of these series as we can. This has already taken a lot of time because it's all explanation. But if we move into Beast Wars, now we see something that's a little bit more reflective of its overall score. An 8.1, but look at all the green we have here. This series doesn't really middle, does it? There's more green here than there is yellow. And also we have one of the very few dark green spots, which is a 9 or above. You know, no surprise, that's Code of Hero. We know Beast Wars is a gold standard series. Yes, the animation quality is very dated. However, very obviously, the show is still very well remembered and is still, collectively very, very good. Season 1, 7.8, 8.3, and 8.1 averages. I forgot to look at the averages. Yeah, okay, so season 1, 7.4, 7.2, 7.1, 7.1, but it ranks in 8.0 stars. I don't get it. This is why we look at the episode breakdown, because this is a lot more telling. So you can see, story-wise, writing-wise, we have a lot of really solid bangers in Beast Wars. So it was a good show. In the comparison, we've covered this. I'm not big on Beast Machines. I will say it's a good cartoon, but it's not a good Transformer cartoon. If it was starring a different cast of characters, I would have different takes on it. But it's the fact that it's assassinating so many Beast Wars characters all at the same time where I start to take issue with it. So this is actually kind of surprising, if only because I think the show is a lot worse than this show's. I would put a lot more in the 5s, honestly. But your lower ranking ones like Mercenary Pursuits, Forbidden Fruit, the Night Scream episode, Wolf in the Fold. So there's your Megatron and Darkest Night, Silverbolt. Wolf in the Fold is Savage Noble. Home Soil is Botanica. A lot of introduction episodes that didn't score well. But no, this also kind of works out. It's a 7.2 and a 7.2, but 6.7. Again, interesting. So overall opinion, a little bit lower than what the episode averages out to be. Also ignore all these gray blocks. For some reason, IMDB thinks that there is 13 more episodes to season 1. There are not. We have nothing for RID. Apparently, no one has actually gone back to actually like plug in reviews for different episodes of RID. And I'm pretty sure that's because there's no official digital distribution. It's out there. You can find it, but there is no official streaming source. There's no easy way to just like click and watch this series because it's in licensing hell thanks to Saban and Disney and all this. So right now, this is completely off the table. There is no grading for it. All we can determine is it's a 7.6, which I think is a little bit high. I'm not huge on the show because there is a lot of budgeting to it, but it is what it is. And okay, I will accept this for now. What about my favorite punching bag of Armada? Well, Armada remembers a little bit better. So it's an average of 7.3 for the entire series, but the overall score is a 7.0. So that's closer than what we've seen. It's closer than what we've seen. And yeah, we see a lot of yellow here. A lot of yellow. We have a little bit of green. Cramp, Alliance, and Mortal Kombat. So Cramp is the episode where Starscream sacrifices himself. And Alliance is obviously the episode where Optimus and Megatron join forces to start battling Unicron, and then the final episode, naturally. And then we have like these little middling episodes. It does not help. It does not help that the Unicron Trilogy was horrible with naming episodes. They were usually just one-word titles, and sometimes they had nothing to do with the title of the episode. What does Cramp? Why is the episode called Cramp? Like, the low point is Carnival, which is a very filler episode of the humans out with the minicons. It's Fred and Billy being super obnoxious the whole episode. I can understand that one being a 6.1. Let's see, where do we move on? We move on to Energon, and now we get into the bad. A lot more orange here, especially for the first part of the... And this is weird to me. This is weird to me. A 5.8, I think, is bright for Energon. But this is such a weird breakdown for me because I genuinely feel like the first part of Energon, those first 13 episodes, are the good point. Because it feels like they actually have a plot line and they actually know where the show is going. You have twists and things like tidal waves, like Energon Surge and Defection. You have, Megatron's return, Scorponok's debut, which is the lowest episode at 5.9. And you also have like the turmoil with Demolishor, his found friends on the Autobot side, but his loyalty to Megatron. That should have gone way longer than it did. You have all this happening, but wow, like, all of this? Really? Like, I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked it's that low. And then the 7s all around for what I thought was a very, like, boring section of the show. I describe Energon as a show where they spend 15 episodes floating in space shooting at each other with no plot happening. Decepticon Army. What episode is Decepticon Army? Kicker heads off to underground to find his family while Cybertron travels through space. Decepticon and Autobot continue fighting. Snowcat and Demolisher plan to bathe in the Super Energon pool. See, that doesn't seem like a lot's going on. Seem like a lot's going on, but why is it an 8.1? Don't know. Don't know. Cybertron mostly looks the same. It does have an overall 6.4 that's better than the rest, than Energon, but it's still a lot of 7s, a lot of 6s. 8.1 for the episode marked Cybertron. Optimus Sonic Wing mode and Megatron's armor of Unicron make them almost equally matched. Vector Prime tips the balance, but has Megatron really been destroyed? Okay, yeah. Oh, it's the episode where Primus wakes up. See, yeah, the episode that focuses on Starscream I thought was the best one in Cybertron, at least my favorite. And that one doesn't seem like it got very. No, that's growing in size. I don't know. I don't remember the exact. This is where I hate this. I hate the stupid simple episode titles that don't tell you anything. But no, Cybertron's weakness is its dub. The show itself, animation quality-wise, is fine. It's the dub that hurts it. The director genuinely didn't care, and this is coming from the voice actors who worked on the show. Did not care. It was just a toy commercial. Just read the lines and get out of the booth. And a lot of extraneous lines that weren't needed. Dialogue during transformation sequences that aren't supposed to be canonical. It's just flash for the people watching at home. Otherwise, and I make this statement all the time, it'd be like shooting Sailor Moon while she's spinning like a Beyblade to transform. You're not meant to like believe this is happening in real time. So giving off an Optimus Prime speech in the middle of combining with Leo Breaker, stupid. And they did it all the time. Let's jump to animated. Okay, this is super weird, okay? This is super weird. I don't understand this. Transformers animated, look at all the green here. Like, we haven't seen this much green since Beast Wars. That's because this is a really good show. Animated's a really good show. And yeah, there's more green than yellow. But it's a 6.8. Look at the season averages. 7.8, 8, 8.2. Why is it a 6.8 overall? Like, that's so stupid. You know what it is? This is why we look at these grids. These are fans. The grid represents fans of these series that have gone through and rated each episode, whereas the overall score is so easy to target by haters and just people who don't get the product. Remember, this was the first cartoon after the Michael Bay period started, meaning you had a lot of new fans coming in, and this was the cartoon product at the time. You probably had a lot of people with negative opinions of this because it wasn't their Transformers. Thus, you have the attack on the overall score. It should be, at least a point higher, 1.5 higher, really. Tons of good episodes here. Like, look at season 3. 3 is a Crowd, which is the Bulkhead and Constructicon episode. And then over here with the Human Error 2-parter, which I thought was fine. It's a callback to a classic in the G1. But look at that. Besides those 3 episodes, 2 that I think they're 7.9. Only Human 7.9. They're so close. That was an entire season that would have been in the green. This was a good show. Why are you downvoting the series itself? Stupid people. Stupid people. We do Transformers Prime. Look at this. So, 8.1, and that's pretty much right bang on what it's supposed to be. Season 1 is a 7.7. Season 2, 8.2. Season 3, 8.5. The more important thing here is, again, Season 3, almost all green except for one episode, and that's only short by a 0.1. Even Season 2 is damn close to a full green season. Grill. Grill is the low point. Agent Fowler has some explaining to do under the threat of military tribunal and Team Prime's termination. Okay, so... Okay, human plot episode. That makes sense, actually. But you can see, yeah, Transformers Prime, very, very well remembered. Very, very well scored. And for the first time since Beast Wars, 2 episodes that actually marked into the dark green over a 9. It's Darkest Hour, where Optimus is defeated and Darkmount has risen, and then 9.5 for the series finale. All this makes sense. I see nothing wrong here, aside from that weird 6.7. What is 6.9? TMI. What was TMI? Miko accidentally downloads ancient knowledge stored on a data cylinder into Bulkhead's brain. Alba gains tremendous amount of information, was threatening his deletion of his own personality. No, I don't mind that episode. I don't mind that episode. That might be some Miko hate bleeding in. But still, well earned. Like, we love Prime around here. Now, if we go over to Robots in Disguise, I will admit I didn't follow this season as much, but again, it seems to be one that catches a lot more hate than it really deserves. The overall score is a 6.0 because, again, I don't think it was what fans wanted at the time, because coming off of Prime and this being a direct sequel, people going, this wasn't my cartoon. And for a lot of people, the tone shift and the artistic shift was not appreciated for a show that was supposed to be a sequel. So, yeah, I understand the downvotes. It's a middling series. It's got a few oranges here to balance out the greens. So this overall score should be a little bit higher, but like it's still just kind of like a middle of the road Transformer show. I say like this is all in comparison to other Transformer shows, right? Like we acknowledge that sevens. This ain't IGN. Sevens are not a bad score. 7 is above average. So we can acknowledge that. But like in comparison to just like, how much green is on Prime, then yes, RID 2015 comes across middling by comparison. As does Cyberverse. And this one I think is unfair. So 7.9, 6.9, 7.4. So its overall rating is a little bit low. This show definitely gets more hate. This is an underrated show. I don't mind the 11-minute episode format. I don't mind how it makes for a very quickly paced show. While you wouldn't think you'd get character development in this show has potentially my favorite version of Hot Rod, because I do think he does a lot of growing in this series, and I really like how daring it was. It's a show that completely took Optimus out of the picture. It took Bumblebee out of the picture. And it just had the guts to try something different, and different in a way that I thought was, gave it a chance of being refreshing. The Quintesson arc in this, I don't like how low. I really do not like how low the scores are for the Quintesson arc, because the Quintesson arc's really, really good. Man, you all be hating. Look, I think this series does get underrated. I really enjoyed my time watching this. I think, yeah, like especially season 2, those are way too many orange blocks there. At least in my opinion. It's all different tastes. I'm going to throw a couple weird ones at you just so that for the sake of completing them. Rescue Bots. First season got a 6.6, but again, that's lower than what the individual season averages are. They do have a good mix of yellow and orange, and then another good mix of red and green. We actually see a bit more red in here than we have in a while. And I didn't really watch Rescue Bots, so I have no way of like really gauging which of these episodes are doing. I'm just throwing it in there for the people who go, you didn't mention Rescue Bots, because I almost never mention Rescue Bots when we do things like this. So there you go. That's Rescue Bots. And just to cover it, here's Rescue Bots Academy. I'm doing all the US shows here. This one surprised me. Not only because there's so many red episodes here. Oh, that's so much red. But also, there's so few votes on some of these. Some is 6 votes, 8 votes, 6 votes, 6 votes. There's a few dedicated fans who went through and voted every episode. So we had some kind of grid to work with. But most of them, season 2 is almost completely blank because there's not enough scores to leave a review. Not enough reviews to leave a score. Let's put it that way. But yeah, like this one was like weirdly hated. It surprised me. Like, 'cause I know Rescue Bots Academy isn't seen as well as the original Rescue Bots, but I know it has its fans. I know they're out there. I've heard them complain every time I ignore this franchise. I know what you want. I know what you're curious about. We're going to look at EarthSpark last. I did not want to do Cyberworld because it's still in process, and I don't think it's fair to compare a series of 5-minute episodes to series that have 11 and 22-minute episodes. So, just to finish it off, yeah, EarthSpark ain't looking great review-wise. There's a couple of greens in there, but it's mostly orange. We see more red than any other series. And then, yeah, the season finale is red. Absolutely deep, deep red. We didn't like those episodes. We did not like those mini-movies. We did not. I do think season 1 here is getting way more hatred than it deserves. There's some really, really good episodes, I think, in here. Yeah, but like I acknowledge this series has its flaws. Now again, the season averages don't come anywhere close to the 3.8 overall score. So this series did definitely get attacked. And we will admit, it got attacked for the wrong reasons. It got attacked for having a non-binary character in a show about frickin' robots. And we'll admit, there's people who attacked it for having an ethnic family as the main leads of the show. I don't like that fact, but there are some of those out there. We have them in the fandom, and I wish they weren't here, but it is true. But overall, it was going for something different. I appreciate they went for something different. I liked the show overall. I know it really went downhill. I don't know why this doesn't reflect it. I don't know why season 2 and 3 are in the middling area again. But season 1 genuinely had... Okay. A lot of those red are filler episodes. I will admit, a lot of those are just slice of life filler episodes, which Transformer fans are not going to go for today. I get that. But, I don't know. It's very telling. I don't know. While me and my friends... I watched this with my friend Mace, who's on my live streams. And we really liked season 1. I'm kind of shocked that we have so many, negative opinions. And, again, because these are episode by episode, I take them with more, validity than the overall rating of 3.8. But that was just my curiosity for the day. People have been showing me these graphs of, look at how many greens Agito has. Oh, that's super cool. I mean, okay, that validates my love of that show. This is a little bit more eye-opening. This is kind of weird to see. So, we've learned a few things here. Number 1, tastes are fickle, and everyone's got different ones. And 2, do not trust the overall rating on IMDB, because sometimes it really, really does not reflect the show overall very well. So, there we go. That's just me settling some curiosity for the day. Let me know what you thought. Is there anything here that surprised you? Or is there anything anything got this you gleaned, for instance? Just seeing, because we literally, as far as televised Transformer shows in the US, we literally just looked at the scores for every single episode. So there you go. So let me know what you make of all of this in the comment section below. And as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.